Hey, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at another solar panel. This is a portable, foldable solar panel by Elecaenta. And this is a brand that I have reviewed before. In fact, I bought their original 120 watt panel probably 3 years ago, or nearly 2.5 years ago. And it was one of the first portable solar panels that I reviewed. And so we're going to take a look at this one. This is their 300 watt, and it's a new version of a previous release of a 300 watt that they had. So this is the latest one, and it's available on Amazon. And I think the list price on this is $3.99, and there's a discount code that the Elecaenta brand gave me that I'll put in the description below if you're gonna go check it out. And I think that gives you a final price of like $3.59 from Amazon US. So that's actually an excellent price for a 300 watt portable solar panel, because that's about a dollar, just a hair under $1.20 a watt. And in the portable solar panel space, you're more likely to find $1.50 up to about $2 a watt of rated output. So let's find out how well this thing performs, what it comes with. It weighs about 16 pounds, comes with a variety of cables. I'll put a little graphic up here to show you what it actually comes with. As you can see here, it's got an XT60 extension cable. It's about 10 feet long, because the panel itself has an XT60 connector on it rather than MC4, but they also do give you an MC4 adapter, so an XT60 to MC4 adapter if you want to pair it up with another panel with appropriate output specs. And then it also comes with an XT60 to a dual-headed adapter that allows you to convert that to either an Anderson or a DC 8020 connector, depending on what kind of connector your power station might have, if it's not already XT60. And then, like all the other Elecaenta panels that I have reviewed, they do include a set of 4 little mini carabiners that you can use to tie this thing down or clamp it down with the included metal grommets that this thing has, which is pretty nice. All right, let's see how well this thing deploys and what kind of power we can get out of it. We're at midsummer in southern Ohio. Pretty cloudless sky, just a couple of wispy clouds here and there. So pretty clear day, and we are just past noon. So if that tells you we should be getting maybe not pristine conditions, but close to it. So we'll find out what that actually translates. And by the way, the volts open circuit on this is just about 40 volts. So be aware of that. You would not want to put this on a power station that has a maximum input voltage of, say, 30 volts, because you might cause some damage to that power station's charge controller. So 40 volts is the voltage open circuit that you need to be aware of. The short circuit current rating on this is about 9 amps. You'll probably get slightly less than that under most conditions, but if, for example, your power station's charge controller maybe caps out at, let's say, 6 amps of pull, you are not going to get the full output capability of this panel. So you need to make sure that your power station can pull at least 9 amps or more, in which case you should be able to use this panel and get the full benefit out of it. All right, let's get it up and see what it does.
That's what she said. Ha.
All right, so pretty easy deployment, really, with these 4 panel designs. I find it's easy to kind of pull it out from the middle and then fold the legs out at one panel at a time. Otherwise, it becomes kind of a wrestling match. So it does have 4 legs in the back. I'll get you some close-ups of this. Then it does have that pebbled ETFE coating. So it's got that extra durable coating on it, which is what you want in a solar panel, especially a portable solar panel. I have to give you a close-up of this, but on the back side, once deployed, on the back side of this magnetic handle, it does have the output XT60 connector on there that connects to that XT60 extension cable. So despite these being very thin and flexible, it does lay relatively flat, and it's got those 3-way elastic bands under the legs, which are really nice for giving you some range of angles that you can deploy it at. I'm keeping it at a pretty flat angle right now. Let me go get a power station and connect this thing up, and we'll see how it performs. All right, so this is actually a pretty good use case for that adapter that it comes with to MC4 from an XT60. So this XT60 cable is what connects directly to the solar panel. And then because this particular power station does not have an XT60 or a DC20 or an Anderson, it uses an aviation style. It's got its own adapter to MC4. So this little adapter from XT60 to MC4 is perfect because it allows me to adapt it to this particular power station. All right, let's take a look and see what we're getting here. Hopefully that comes out. We're getting about 240 watts. So that is 80% of that 300 rated output, which is pretty decent numbers. And let's try laying this flat and see if we get anything slightly different, because it is at the height of summer and the sun is pretty far overhead. All right, I have gotten it flat now. While it's in this position, getting 224 watts pretty consistently, let's go ahead and do a quick shading test on one of the panels and see how that affects the output. All right, hopefully you can make that out where I put the branch. I have about 50% blocked, well, maybe 40% blocked that leftmost panel. Let's see what kind of output we're getting now. 193 watts. So that's about a 15% drop, which is pretty good. You might expect as much as a 25% drop or worse if this thing is not wired in an advantageous way. So only a 15% drop in output is pretty good. Let's move it over one and see if we have a similar result. So we put the branch on a different panel. Kind of put it in the middle of one of the middle panels and just see if there's any difference. Only a slight difference. 188 watts still, with one of the panels at least 40% blocked. Even though you might expect a full like 25% loss, because a lot of panels, if they're not wired in an advantageous way, you lose the entire panel if you block any of that panel. So in this case, by blocking any of these panels, you would expect at least a 25% decline in whatever the output you were getting before you added the shade. In this case, we're only getting maybe 15%, even though we're blocking almost 50% of one of the panels. Let's try straddling two panels with that branch and just see what kind of difference that makes. In some panels, this would effectively reduce your output by 50%. Let's just see what that does. Pretty good block. It's about a 20% block on two different panels. All right, so we're getting 153 watts with two panels partially shaded. That's actually very good shade performance. Let me pull that off there and see what it jumps back up to. The good news is we don't really have any significant clouds today, so I don't have to worry about the sun continually getting partially obscured. Let's see, we went from 152, and the PowerPoint is going to be recalculated here. It's going to take it a few seconds, and we are right back up to where we were before, about 223, 224 watts. And that's again in the flat position, being laid down flat. So excellent shade performance out of this 300 watt panel. By the way, on these 4-panel designs for portable solar panels, the easiest way to fold these up typically is just to fold in the end panels like that, let them overlap, then you can lift it up and then just drop it in place and you're done. So easy peasy. Since these are Velcro and elastic, the legs all just fall back into place. So just in a matter of a couple seconds, it's ready to go. So one tip that I give in a lot of my solar panel videos is estimating what kind of charged capacity you can get out of a particular solar panel. So a 300 watt solar panel is going to be able, depending on what your latitude is and the sky conditions, give you, as long as those conditions are reasonably good, should be able to give you between 1200 up to about 1500 watt hours of charge capacity in a full day of good clear sky conditions. And so whether you use a multiplier of 4 or 4.5 or 5 really kind of depends on how conservative or aggressive you want to be with your estimation. So the better your weather, if you are in the Southwest with very dry conditions and very sunny conditions, you probably can reasonably expect to use a multiplier of 5. So 5 times 300, that gives you 1500 watt hours of charge capacity out of this one solar panel. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's about a 16-pound panel. I'll put the dimensions on screen here for you so you can see what they are, both folded dimensions and unfolded dimensions. But I think this is an excellent panel if you're looking for something in that 300 watt or 200 watt plus category. This kind of gives you the ability to get into a larger capacity panel at like a 200 watt panel price. So you're getting 50% more output at about the same price as you would normally expect to pay for a 200 watt panel. This does have a 2-year warranty on it, by the way. And Elecaenta has been selling these on Amazon for quite a long time, and they have excellent reviews. So I'll put all that information in the description of the video below if you want to go check that out. And yeah, good panel. I think it's a great choice. As long as it does not exceed your input max on your power station, you are good to go. All right, hopefully you found something helpful in this video. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up on it. I'd very much appreciate that. I do appreciate you spending time to watch this one with me, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. Until then, have fun out there.